What's up, guys? Mickle here, and is tomorrow the last day of the Ripple SEC case? Well, guys, in this video, we're going to talk about whether or not that is true. Guys, tomorrow is actually a pretty big deal for this case. In this video, I want to talk about why that is. I want to talk about how tomorrow is going to impact a final decision in this case and what we should be looking forward to next. Guys, towards the end of the video, I also want to go over some very positive developments on the macro. Guys, we are seeing a huge shift in how different people are forecasting what is to come in the years ahead. Guys, in this video, I want to show you some very good signs that we could be heading into a very bullish period for cryptocurrencies. Make sure to stick around to the end of the video to see that. You are not going to want to miss it. Like always, guys, your support means so much to this channel. If you want to see more videos just like this, make sure to hit the like and subscribe button down below and turn on bell notifications. These three simple things are going to go such a long way in helping this channel grow, and it really does mean so much to me. If you guys ever need a good place to buy some XRP, make sure to check out my favorite exchange, Uphold, down in the description of this video. Guys, Uphold has been blowing it out of the water recently. You can stake your crypto right on their platform. You can get an XRP-backed debit card, and you can even buy the Flare token, so make sure you sign up with their exchange if you haven't already using the link in the description of this video. With that said though, guys, let's jump right into it, and I hope you guys enjoy the content. Because I want to start out this video and talk about something that is getting kind of annoying right now, and that is there is still no word on when the SEC will actually be held accountable. Guys, when the current party in charge of the House took over from the previous party, they made a lot of claims that they were going to be investigating Gary Gensler hard. Guys, so far we have not seen anything like that. Now, to be fair, there has been a lot going on in our government, and to be honest, the whole SEC issues is likely on the back burner. But guys, this is something I do not want to see pushed off much longer. A lot of these people made claims that they were going to be investigating the SEC the second they took control of the House, and we still haven't seen anything. Guys, I really don't like to play politics on this channel, but the fact of the matter is, Gary Gensler's own political party was never going to investigate him. The best chance we have for an investigation into the SEC is right now. We have a House that can call an investigation into the opposite political party, which is typically what they want to make each other look bad, and it hasn't happened yet. Now guys, I still have faith that this will happen, but the other thing we need to take into account is I want it to happen before Gary Gensler steps down. Guys, it really doesn't do much good if we get an investigation into the SEC and Gary Gensler has already packed his bags and left. He's just going to get away with it. Honestly, the new SEC chair will probably just settle the Ripple SEC case if it's still going on, and everything kind of just gets shoved out of the way and people forget about it. Guys, I really want to see Gary Gensler have to testify in front of Congress, and the fact of the matter is, if we don't hurry up and get the ball rolling on this, Gary Gensler might just be able to weasel his way out of this entire thing. Guys, we'll have to see what happens here. If I'm to be honest, the bright side of this is the fact that the simple threat of investigation might be enough to get Gary Gensler to leave the SEC, and that would be massively bullish for cryptocurrency. We probably wouldn't get the justice all of us want, and unfortunately, that's just kind of the way it goes in American politics. These people never actually get in trouble. But guys, as long as cryptocurrencies finally have a path to gain the regulation they need for mainstream or mass adoption, that's really all we can ask for. So guys, let's hope that even if we don't get the investigation immediately, Gary Gensler still feels enough pressure to leave the SEC, because ultimately that's the end goal. Justice would be nice too though. So guys, now I want to move on and talk about how the Ripple SEC case is ending tomorrow. And guys, it's not actually ending tomorrow, but tomorrow is still a very big day. Tomorrow is going to be the last day or the last day of document submission in this case. Guys, this is a massive step. We've had parties submitting documents for the last 2 years. It has been absolutely insane. When I started covering this case, guys, I had no idea, or I never thought it would go this long, and neither did most of the lawyers following this case. I remember when I first started following this case, most of the lawyers following it closely were saying, oh, it would go max to the end of 2022. Well, guys, here we are in 2023, and we just submitted the last documents. Guys, the good news about this is, and I know a lot of people are probably thinking, oh, I can't believe we're still not done. I can't believe they're still submitting documents. Guys, the good news is we are so close to the end of this thing. We have had multiple lawyers, and I know I just said they were wrong in the past, but we have had a lot of lawyers saying that worst case scenario, this case takes until June or the summer for Judge Torres to make her decision. Now, guys, that is the worst case scenario. Most of the people, including James K. Filan, who is a very, very well respected lawyer in this community, he's really looked up to by both John Deaton and Jeremy Hogan. Guys, he seems to think Judge Torres will have her decision in by the end of March, which, guys, is right around the corner with all things considered. So, guys, starting tomorrow, it's really just a waiting game. We're not going to see much more in this case. And, guys, I also think this kind of changes the dynamic in a way. I no longer think a settlement's going to happen before summary judgment. We've kind of just run out of time at this point. The only off chance we could see something like this happen is if Judge Torres was to make a decision on whether or not the Hinman emails would be public before summary judgment. But a lot of lawyers think Judge Torres is just going to make this decision at summary judgment, and we're just going to find out everything at once. Guys, I have a feeling, and I saw a couple predictions on this, and I have a feeling it's spot on. I have a feeling Judge Torres is going to call both Ripple and the SEC's attorneys and say, hey, here's my final decision. You can accept this decision, or you can settle this case right now. Guys, I have a feeling that depending on what this decision by Judge Torres looks like, that is going to drive whether or not this case settles. And guys, this is something that can definitely happen. I've already talked to multiple lawyers about it. They say this kind of stuff happens all the time. To me, this just seems like the most likely outcome. The SEC is going to want to play this thing till the end, see if they can get some crazy win they weren't expecting, and if they don't get that win, go into settlement negotiations with Ripple and say, okay, well, if you don't at least hide the Hinman emails, we're going to appeal this decision by Judge Torres and drag you through court for another year and a half. Now, guys, this is absolutely disgusting. It's a dirty tactic, but I have a feeling this is probably what the SEC is going to do. Guys, the good news about all of this is the fact that Ripple has been on the right side of this since day one. They have multiple different things on their side. Not only are they right on the investment contract issue, not only are they right that XRP is not a security, but they also have bodies hanging over the SEC's head like the Hinman emails. They don't want these things getting out, and they're going to do almost anything to prevent that from happening. So guys, I have a feeling that because tomorrow is the last day of document submission, we're likely going to be waiting until at least March to see what happens next. Most likely, Ripple and the SEC are going to get into a room, they're going to know the final decision, and they're either going to accept that final decision or settle this case. I have a feeling it's going to settle, and the reason why I think it's going to settle is purely statistics. 95% of SEC cases settle. Because of that, I'm going to take the bet that we're likely going to have a settlement in this case. The SEC is not going to want certain things made public, and I think the only way that's really going to happen is if there's a settlement. Judge Torres is a very transparent lawyer. I think there's going to be at least a couple things the SEC does not want getting out there that are going to be released in her ruling. So I have a feeling the SEC is going to be finally brought to the table, forced to settle this case, and in my opinion, a settlement in this case would be that early sales of XRP were securities transactions. XRP today is not. Guys, we'll have to see how that plays out, but in my opinion, it's the most likely scenario because the SEC could still go after other projects in the future saying, oh, well, you're just violating the time period in which Ripple was actually violating securities transactions, not when they were all clear. This gives the SEC the power to keep crushing projects, and, well, Ripple would have clarity going forward, and they would settle all their past behavior with a simple payment to the SEC. To me, this just seems like the most realistic scenario going forward. It's not the best win for all of crypto, I'll tell you that right now, but it is a massive win for Ripple, XRP, and XRP holders, and guys, that's really all we can expect at this point. So guys, I want to finish this video off and go over some very bullish developments in the cryptocurrency market. And guys, that is that we are starting to see some serious changes on the macro. Now guys, I have been flagging this for a couple weeks now, but we are really starting to see things shift. Take a look at this. Breaking. Goldman Sachs is no longer predicting a recession for countries in Europe. Guys, this is huge because I remember when this whole downturn started, the whole premise for why we were going to see a recession in the United States was because Europe was going to go into a recession and that was going to drag the US into a recession. Well, guys, suddenly it looks like that these big banks no longer think there's going to be a recession. And guys, that likely means that all the economic data coming into these banks are showing them, hey, things are a lot better than they should have been right now. Maybe we got this wrong. And guys, if we take a look at some of the charts that correspond with this data, we can see that the worst might already be behind us. What this is showing us right here is the chance of a downturn in the economy based on how people are simulating the economy versus what happens to the market. And this is actually international markets, but guys, international markets and the US market ultimately trend in similar directions. Well, guys, what we can see right here is that almost every single time we cross this bottom dotted green line, we had a massive downturn in the markets. But guys, as we can see right here, we have really already recovered from that downturn. The worst might already be behind us. And that's probably why we have different firms like Goldman Sachs coming out and saying, oh, maybe the recession is already behind us. Maybe the worst is over. Maybe we have already hit a bottom. Now, guys, this would be massively bullish because I've been saying this for a while. Once the Federal Reserve stops raising interest rates, we are going to see capital flow back into cryptocurrencies. Really the last thing we need. We have already shaken out a lot of the dead weight from this industry. We're really just waiting for the macro to improve. We need people to once again feel safe going into growth assets. And guys, that's going to take us avoiding a recession or at least getting a very mild one. Guys, it looks like that's happening right now. And it looks like the banks are already starting to sing this narrative. And guys, I just want to finish off this video with showing what could happen to XRP. And I thought this was such an interesting chart. Guys, we really are in a very similar formation that we saw back in 2014 to 2017. And guys, this is that consolidation range I always talk about on this channel. Price of an asset keeps having decreasing highs while the lows are increasing, and this causes the price to squeeze into this triangle right here. Well, guys, ultimately, the price needs to go somewhere, and we get a massive moment of volatility to the upside or downside. Guys, back in 2017, it was a massive rip to the upside, one that a lot of people didn't even think was possible. Well, guys, it looks like we are in a very similar situation now. We have that same consolidation pattern, and guys, we are just waiting to see XRP finally get the momentum to break out of this thing. Guys, it might be because of the macro, but it might also get some help from the Ripple SEC case. Let's see what happens, but guys, this thing looks ready to rip. Anyway, guys, I hope you enjoyed this update. If you did, make sure to like and subscribe. It really does mean so much. And for now, Mickle out.